The Rangers play their first AL West game tonight against the Mariners on top of the American League and on top of the AL West. But what's been going down in this division so far this season? We'll break down all that and more on this episode of Locked On Rangers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Patrick, a cripplingly addicted Texas Rangers fan, covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 6 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, we're talking about the AL West, what's been going down in this wacky division, why are the teams where they are, who is going to stay like they are, and a little bit of time at the end, we will talk about a possible Wyatt Langford extension and why I don't really think it's happening this year. But let's go team by team in this AL West. The Rangers tonight start a series in Seattle against the Mariners. Is going to be an important series for this Rangers team coming off their first series loss of the year. The Rangers are 9-4, have the best record in the American League. They have a negative run differential, a Pythagorean record of 6-7. But hey, this team is on top of the division. They do keep winning, but how do they do it? Well, pitching. The Rangers have been pitching so much better than expected, especially with the injuries to both John Gray and to Cody Bradford, and now to Jack Leiter. I mean, the Rangers have 3 starters on the IL and yet still have the best record in the American League and one of the best records in baseball. This is expected to be an elite offensive team, and for the first week and a half or so of the season, Corey Seager didn't really look like himself. That multi-homer game in the finale against the Cubs made him look a whole lot more like himself. Wyatt Langford is now on the IL despite being the Rangers' second most consistent hitter. No, most consistent hitter. Josh Smith had a bad first 5 games, but then has been on fire since then. Smith has been such a boost to this offense. Jonah Heim has been absolutely crushing it. Josh Young is back, and he crushed it in his first 2 games back off the IL. Overall, offensively, though, it has not been that great of a season. I mean, it's just been a bad offensive season so far for Marcus Semien, for Jake Berger, for Jock Peterson especially. I mean, this offense, their OPS plus as a team is 88. They're 12% worse than league average as a team, with which should be, I think still will be, one of the deepest lineups in baseball, but they have been getting it done with pitching, with the bullpen, with elite starting pitching. Great performances so far this year from Tyler Mahle and a couple of starts. Nathan Eovaldi overall has been fantastic. Jack Leiter has been exceptional. He was supposed to throw a bullpen on Tuesday, and he is eligible to come off the IL a week from today on, I believe, the 18th is when he will be eligible to return from that IL stint because of the blister he suffered that made him exit early in that dominant start against the Reds. But the rest of this rotation has been, pretty darn good. Jacob deGrom hasn't been, the full deGrom, but he's still been pretty darn good. Rocker had a terrible first start and a pretty darn good second start. Patrick Corbin did his job in a very difficult situation in a game where the Rangers lost. And overall, the bullpen's been pretty effective. I mean, Chris Martin still hasn't allowed an earned run. Neither has Hobie Milner. Mark Church has been a little shaky. They've got a new arm in long relief. No longer is it going to be Harrison Garabito. It is going to be Caleb Bushley. We haven't seen him quite yet. Sean Armstrong and Jacob Webb have been mostly good, but one bad performance really sunk their ERA. I mean, that game against the Cubs, that series against the Cubs for the most part was just rough on this Rangers pen. And Luke Jackson, outside of an opening day blowup, he's been fantastic as the Rangers closer. So the back end 2 guys have been fantastic. Robert Garcia has been really darn good. Overall, this team has been, winning a lot of close games, maybe some games that they shouldn't. They're 5-0 in 1-run games. As good as this bullpen's been, I don't anticipate that necessarily, staying a trend. It's so hard to have such a good record in 1-run games without a truly elite pen. I think this pen's good. I don't think it's elite. I think the starting pitching is much better than it was given credit for, especially the depth with Jack Leiter looking like this. With Rocker, if he's starting to throw more sinkers and look more like who he was in the second start, and if he starts to get more of a feel for that curveball, I think we'll see more of that strikeout stuff, tick back up. He only had one strikeout in that last start, but he went 5 innings of 1-run ball. Maybe it was 6 innings. No, I think it was 5 innings of 1-run ball, and he looked fantastic. I mean, he did exactly what the Rangers needed, and this offense has barely done anything so far. I mean, really, the only hitters who have gotten going are Jonah Heim, Josh Smith, and Wyatt Langford for the most part. Simeon still has yet to break out. Seager is starting to break out. Higashioka has been fine. Berger has been bad. But these bats are too good to stay bad for this long, and so I think that this team is only going to get a whole lot better if the starting pitching and the bullpen hold up like this, and the offense turns into that juggernaut kind of an offense that we think that they can be, or even if they're just a pretty darn good offense, not necessarily, best offense in baseball. This is a team that could definitely win this division because it's not as strong as we thought it was heading into the season. And the reason I say that is because the number 2 team in this division by record, the Rangers are 9-4, and half a game behind them is the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Tell me you expected that 2 weeks into the season. I'll tell you that you're a darn liar. Now, how have the Angels done it? Well, the expectation heading into this season is that maybe they were scrappy. They had some young, promising players. Zach Neto's still on the IL. He's probably not going to be back until around May. He was a very, very promising player last year, a 5-win shortstop who plays great shortstop defense and hits the ball for power. That's exciting. I mean, Logan O'Hoppe, a young catcher who can hit pretty well. That's exciting. Nolan Schanuel is a weird player that I can't quite figure out, but he's a good player. It's just confusing. And also they have Mike Trout. But the reason that the Angels so far are the second best team in the AL West is because they frickin' bang. This lineup has been fantastic so far, and the main reason is because of the guy who is leading the American League in Baseball Reference WAR right now. No, it's not Mike Trout. No, it's not Taylor Ward or Joe Adell. It's Kyron Paris, a second-round pick in the 2019 draft out of high school. The 23-year-old super utility infielder is also leading the league in slugging percentage. He's got 5 home runs in 11 games. He's got a slash line of .393, .485, slugging an even 1,000. That is just bonkers. I mean, Mike Trout has got 5 home runs in the season. Logan O'Hoppe has got 5 home runs in the season. Kyron Paris has got 5 home runs on the season. He plays a little bit of second, a little bit of short, a little bit of center field, a super utility guy that I'm sure they will be trying to get in the lineup as frequently as possible. He's also got 4 stolen bases. Kyron Paris has been an absolute revelation. Is he going to continue to be this? Probably not. He's probably not going to have a 1,000 OPS or a slugging percentage, excuse me, not OPS. The OPS is in the 1,400s. I don't think he's going to have a, 1,000 slugging percentage for the whole season. But so far, they've been a very, very good offensive team, and they just absolutely obliterated the Rays, who have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. Just dropped 11 runs on them. They've dropped 10 runs before, and it wasn't just them beating up on the Chicago White Sox. They actually lost the opening game there. And their starting pitching has been fine. Jack Kochanowicz has had a solid couple of starts. Kyle Hendricks has been really darn good in his first 2 starts. Jose Soriano has been pretty good. Yusei Kikuchi has been hit around quite a bit. He's walked 8 in his first 18 innings, got an ERA of 5. Tyler Anderson has been kind of mediocre. He's got 6 walks and 3 home runs given up in his first 10 innings, his first 2 starts. Kenley Jansen's been great, but their bullpen has been very suspect. I mean, Brock Burke's got an ERA north of 8. Ben Joyce, the 105-mile-an-hour fastball fame, he's got an ERA north of 6. Ryan Johnson, who has pitched the second most innings in their bullpen, are actually tied for the most innings with Kenley Jansen. That Ryan Johnson has got a 9 ERA and a negative 0.6. Not negative, full 6. That would be crazy hard to do. Negative 0.6 Baseball Reference WAR, but Kenley Jansen's been awesome. He's been everything they signed him to be. He's closed out 4 games. He's pitched in 5. He's got 3 saves. He hasn't allowed a single earned run so far this season. He's struck out 6 in 5 innings of work. That's what they paid him for. He wants to keep racking up some save, and he's getting more save opportunities than I thought he'd get early on because this team has been good. Now, is this going to sustain? I don't know. I bet Kikuchi is going to be better than this. I bet Kyron Paris is going to be a little bit worse than this. I bet Mike Trout's probably going to hit a little bit better than 205 that he's been hitting so far. Still an OPS 5 points shy of 900. He's been really darn good, and they're going to get their really, really good young shortstop back at some point in May in Zach Neto. They've also got Robert Stevenson, Anthony Rendon on the 60-day IL. I don't expect to see Rendon at all this season. I mean, Robert Stevenson, they signed to a big 3-year deal, and then immediately he blew out as one of the better relievers in baseball. But that's why signing relievers to 3-year deals, multi-year deals is a little bit tenuous for them. They've also got Sam Bachman on the IL and Yohan Moncada, who they signed to replace what they knew was going to be a short season, if any season, from Anthony Rendon. Yohan Moncada is already on the 10-day IL. I don't think this team is going to keep it up. I don't think they're deep enough, and I think you have a sus bullpen this long. You're not going to keep being 4-1 in one-run games like the Angels have been so far. But hey, credit to him. Credit to Kyron Paris. Credit to Logan O'Hoppe. Credit to Ron Washington for getting this team to play well. It's been a good start for them. They faced the Astros this weekend, and while they may not end up as the second best team in the AL West, I'm more sure that it's a possibility after 2 weeks than I was heading into the season. Coming up, we're going to talk about the team that the Rangers are facing off against this weekend. What has made the Mariners so mediocre so far, and why the Astros are looking pretty vulnerable right now. All that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site that's made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you always talk to a real person. And for the trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Shout out to the Air for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. We'll be back on Monday talking about this weekend series. Hopefully a series win. Maybe if I'm feeling greedy, I'm hoping for a series sweep. I mean, I'm always hoping for that. But let's get into the Houston Astros, who have a losing record at this point in the season. Third place in the AL West at 5-7 after losing just one of the wackier series that we've seen so far this year. 2-1 series loss to the Mariners in Seattle this week at midweek, including the final game of this series. I mean, the middle game of this series went 12 innings, and it was scoreless until the 7th inning. The Astros scored one, then the Mariners scored one, and then no one else scored until the 12th inning. 1 run for the Astros. They won 2-1 in 12 innings, and then the Astros blew a 5-0 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. A grand slam to Randy Arozarena. After they had got the bases, Mariners got the bases loaded with no outs, and then struck out and grounded out weakly. It looks like they were going to, waste a bases loaded no outs opportunity. Then Randy Arozarena hits a grand slam, and then he ends up walking it off on a walk-off walk to win that series for Seattle. So the Astros sitting at 5-7 so far this season. What was the expectation? Well, as always with the Houston Astros, the expectation was for them to be really good. The expectation was for them to have an exceptional offense. I was a little more questioning of that offense that was, not a great offensive outfield, although Jose Altuve is now an outfielder. Cam Smith, I thought they were putting a lot of pressure on a rookie, and, it turns out the offense isn't as deep as everyone expected it to be. Yainer Diaz has been horrendous so far this season, a 199 OPS. Not sub 200 batting average, not sub 200 on base, not sub 200 slugging percentage, an OPS of 199. I am not particularly shocked. I didn't think that, catcher offense is really, really hard to predict, and it's hard to be, consistently great as a catcher unless you're one of the best to ever do it. I mean, Pudge was pretty consistent with his bat. I mean, even JT Realmuto, who's been really darn good, he's started to regress offensively. And Yainer Diaz, when you expand the zone as much as he does and swing as much as he does, I didn't think that he would be able to continue to be, absolutely elite. And granted, it's 99 games and 36 plate appearances, but it's been a horrendous start for him, for Christian Walker, for most of this offense. I mean, Isaac Paredes has a sub 600 OPS. Actually, everybody in this lineup, outside of two people, has an OPS below 700. And no, Yordan Alvarez is not one of those people with a OPS north of 700. He's at 613 so far. Jose Altuve is questionable in left field defensively. Shocker, but he can still hit. That's not really surprising. He's got a 912 OPS. And then the only other person with an OPS north of 700 is Jake Myers, the center fielder. Just barely at 708. But this offense has not been very deep. They have not been hitting well. Christian Walker has not performed like what they expected. Isaac Paredes is a sub 600 OPS. Everyone thought that was going to be such a home run grand slam trade. I mean, Cam Smith, he's been a rookie. He's been a child. He's 22 years old, and he spent all of 5 minutes in the minor leagues before he got called up to the big leagues. It is a huge adjustment, and he's hitting 200 at a multi-hit day. The other day is fine. The starting pitching at the top end is very, very good, but like I thought, it's not as deep as it was being billed as. I mean, Ronel Blanco last year, I don't think that Ronel Blanco can continue to be, that elite. I think he got pretty lucky with some batted ball stuff. He walked too many guys. Spencer Arrighetti is now on the IL. I believe he has a broken finger. Maybe it's a broken thumb that he suffered during batting practice. Hayden Wesneski has been fine. Framber Valdez and Hunter Brown have both been very, very good. But, you look at the depth in this rotation, it's just not deep enough. It's just not there. I mean, they've got a lot of pitchers on the IL too. He's Spencer Arrighetti, like I just said. Lance McCullers Jr. is allegedly going to pitch at some point this year. I mean, he's pitching in AAA. I just completely have forgotten about him because he's barely pitched in the last 4 years or so. It's been a long time since we've seen meaningful contributions from him. Forrest Whitley's on the 15-day IL, Luis Garcia, JP France, Christian Javier, 3 pitchers on the 60-day IL. That is a lot of depth there. Not to mention, losing Justin Verlander, losing the offense they lost in Bregman and Kyle Tucker. Hilariously, both of them being offensive players of the week last week. I mean, imagine them on the same team. I bet they still couldn't have beaten the 2023 World Series champion Texas Rangers, even if they had both those guys. But, I mean, the bullpen has been... Well, Josh Hader's been good. Brian King has been good for them. Steven Okert has been mostly good, even though he's the one who gave up that grand slam to Randy Rosarena. Brian Abreu has an ERA north of 5, and that just brings my Hayden heart so much joy. But I think eventually the Astros are going to right the ship. I think it's going to be not long before Yordan Alvarez has an OPS that's north of 700 and probably north of 800 and maybe north of 900. But the depth of this offense, it's questionable. The depth of the starting rotation is questionable. The depth of the bullpen, everywhere. You lose this many guys. You can't stay good for this long and hope to keep replacing top-end talent from the minor leagues. It's just too hard, and especially when they lose so many of their front office members that have been very, very smart. But I think eventually the Astros are going to, right the ship. I don't think that the Angels are going to stay ahead of the Astros in this division to end the season, but just getting some early season joy watching Houston fail. Just like I have gotten some early season joy watching the Seattle Mariners fail, who the Rangers are going to be facing off against this weekend. What was the expectation for the Mariners? Well, they've been kind of as expected, honestly. Also, looking at these baseball reference projections for, playoff odds, right now, the Astros have, where is it? I just saw it a second ago. An 84.4% chance to make the postseason, where the Rangers are at just 24.8. That should be, I think, a little bit different. But the Mariners at 5-8, they are tied for the last place spot in the AL West. The Astros just a half a game out of last place in the AL West. Doesn't that bring you just so much joy to hear? Now, what was the expectation for these Mariners? The expectation was for them to be good, for them to have exceptional starting pitching, an exceptional bullpen, and a mediocre offense. And, that's kind of been about the case, except the starting pitching hasn't been exceptional. It's just been pretty good. I mean, Luis Castillo, the older, the better one, is a 2.12 ERA in 3 starts. He's looked fantastic. Logan Gilbert has looked absolutely fantastic so far this season. He's got a 2.55 ERA. The Rangers will see him on Sunday in that series finale. He's got 25 strikeouts, which lead the American League at this point. But for the first time, basically, it feels like in ever, the Mariners are dealing with some pitching issues, some pitching injuries, I should say. George Kirby is on the 15-day IL. He's got shoulder soreness. He has not pitched so far this season. Victor Robles made the catch of the year in San Francisco, but was carted off the field with an upper body injury. Carted off with an upper body injury is, that's a terrible thing to see. Wishing Victor Robles all the best. He is just on the 10-day IL. I don't expect to see him anytime soon. Matt Brash is on the 15-day IL. Jackson Kowar is on the 60-day IL. But overall, they're still pretty healthy, and the offense has been, kind of mid. I mean, Randy Rosarena had some good moments. Julio Rodriguez has had some good moments. Jorge Polanco has been their best hitter by far. But overall, this offense, not very deep, not all that, exciting. And they just haven't gotten very much out of J.P. Crawford either. He's got a 519 OPS on the season. I mean, it's just been about what we'd expected. A team that doesn't hit for average, that doesn't hit for power, gets on base at an okay clip. I mean, right now their batting average as a team is 200, their OBP is 203, and their slugging is 333. I mean, this is kind of about what we expected from Seattle. They can pitch, they can't really hit, and, you kind of wish, if you're a Mariners fan, they would actually spend some money on some free agent hitters. Should be a good series this weekend for the Rangers versus this Seattle Mariners team. But coming up, we're going to talk about the last place A's. Why I think they might end up giving the Rangers and the rest of this division some trouble. And should the Rangers extend Wyatt Langford? We'll talk about that and more right after this. Now, the last place team in this division, they're tied for last. The Astros at 5-7, the Mariners are at 5-8, and also at 5-8 is the Yolo County A's. Yes, that is the actual county where they play. In West Sacramento, they do not want to be called the Oakland A's. They do not want to be called the Sacramento A's. They just want to be the Athletics, which, yuck, sounds gross. But the one thing that hasn't been gross about this A's team is, unsurprisingly, their offense. And this was a team that, in our AOS preview, you heard our very fervent Oakland, not Oakland, Locked On Athletics host predict that the A's would run away with this division. And I don't think that that's going to happen at all, because of exactly what this team has been for the first 2 weeks. I think that's exactly who they are. Now, the expectation was that this would be a good offense. This would be a team with a lot of really, really good hitters. I mean, Brent Rooker, a very, very talented hitter. Shea Langeliers, talented hitter, talented catcher. Lawrence Butler, talented hitter for sure. And Jacob Wilson, I didn't talk nearly enough about him. He was a guy who hit 400 in the minor leagues. Doesn't have a whole lot of power. He's a legit shortstop, but he has incredible bat-to-ball skills. He doesn't strike out very much at all. Actually, just twice so far this season in 48 plate appearances. He's only struck out twice, and he's a rookie. And yeah, he did hit 400 in the minor leagues, and I don't think he's going to hit 400 for the full season. Right now, he's hitting 396 with a 979 OPS. He's been really darn good, and the way that the A's have gotten their wins is they bang. They are some boppers. They can freaking hit it. Mainly Tyler Soderstrom. He has been the best hitter on this team, one of the best hitters in baseball. He's hitting over 350. His OBP is north of 425. He's slugging over 770. He's got an 1197 OPS and a tied for the MLB lead with 6 home runs. Also gotten 4 dingers from Brent Rooker, 3 from Shea Langeliers, a couple from that rookie Jacob Wilson, and they've got even more help along the way with a certain first baseman who will be coming up and playing it somewhere. They've got too many hitters that are doing very well. I can't think of the name of the first baseman that is in AAA right now with Tyler Soderstrom not catching, he's gonna play. I mean, you hit like that, you're gonna play somewhere, and maybe Brent Rooker ends up playing more in the outfield, and we see less Miguel Andujar. I think that would probably be best for them. And Lawrence Butler hasn't even gotten going yet so far. The reason the A's have a losing record at this point is not surprising. It's their pitching. I didn't think they had enough pitching depth. I didn't think they have enough starting depth. Yeah, they signed Luis Severino to a big deal. I thought that was a lot of money for a pitcher who I think is solid, but not, top end rotation guy. I mean, they made a trade for Jeffrey Springs because the A's had to spend money and the Rays can never spend money. And he's been fine, not great in his first couple of starts. And the rest of their rotation, I mean, Luis Severino hasn't been that good. He's got a 4.7 ERA in 3 starts. Jeffrey Springs is a 4.20 ERA in 3 starts. And Joey S, just the number 5 starter, he's got an ERA north of 15 in his first 2 starts of the season, and their bullpen doesn't have enough depth. I mean, it has been really, really rough for Jose Leclerc so far. He was, their big free agent bullpen addition, and he is not getting many leverage innings so far this season, at least not with the performances that he's had. I mean, Mason Miller's been Mason Miller. He's got 3 saves. He's struck out 8 in 5 innings and only walked 1 and allowed 2 hits. He's really freaking good, but the rest of this pen, not so much. I mean, Tyler Ferguson's had some moments. Noah Murdoch's been hit around. TJ McFarland has been hit around. Mitch Spence has been hit around. Basically, almost everyone in this pen outside of Mason Miller, Tyler Ferguson, and Justin Sterner has been lit the heck up. And I just don't think they have enough depth in their offense if they sustain some sort of injury, and definitely not in their rotation. If something happens to Jeffrey Springs, who is a good pitcher, but he doesn't have that big of a track record for a workload. He's only had more than 7 starts in a season once. That was in 2022, his breakout year. He had a 2.46 ERA in 135 innings. That was awesome. And then the next year he followed up and looked amazing in 3 starts, but then got hurt and then came back and pitched 7 starts last year. Didn't even average 5 innings per start, and they're asking him to be the number 2 on this staff. And yeah, as Osvaldo Bido has looked pretty good. JP Sears has looked solid. I don't know if this is going to necessarily hold up, but I just don't think they have enough depth to sustain this. Well, I think they do have enough depth to sustain this level of winning of a 5-8 record. But in order to, make a push for the division or make a push for even a wild card spot, I don't know that that's necessarily the case. This is going to be a division that's not terrible. I don't think anybody in this division is going to be straight up terrible. I think that everyone's going to beat up on each other a little bit. And I think that, our expectation that maybe 90 wins is enough to take this division crown is accurate. I think that the Rangers are, they're 10% of the way there. If 90 wins gets them there, they're at 9 wins so far this season. And, we're not even halfway through April. That's a good start to be at. And the Rangers have barely hit their stride. Like I said, they're 9-4. They've won some lucky games, and the hitting has barely gotten going at all. And the one series that they've lost was to the Cubs, who I think are a really, really darn good team. This is a good spot for the Rangers to be in heading into this first AL West series. And, there's all the reason to think that this team is going to get even better. Maybe not this level of win percentage for the entire season, but just the overall good feeling about this team and how talented they actually are. And if this team gets into the postseason, if you have a healthy Nathan Eovaldi, you have a healthy Jacob deGrom, no matter who else you're starting in games 3 or 4 or whatever of a series, with this offense and those guys and Bruce Bochy at the helm, I feel very, very confident in this team if they get to October making a deep run, provided that enough of those guys are healthy. Now, speaking of guys who are healthy, well, we're not going to do that. We're talking about Wyatt Langford, who is on the 10-day IL with a right oblique strain. Hopefully he is just out for those 10 days. But I want to talk a little bit about extensions and why I don't think the Rangers are going to give one to what is by far their most promising player in the system. Wyatt Langford has been exceptional so far this season. He has been the Rangers' most consistent hitter. He's got an OPS just shy of 900 at 894. He's leading the team with his 4 home runs. He's almost the best player in terms of baseball reference WAR at .5. He is the leader in terms of position players. But right now, I don't think the Rangers are in a spot where they're going to extend him. Yes, there have been a lot of extensions in baseball, including the $500 million extension from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., with the Toronto Blue Jays. We have also seen the $100+ million extension for Jackson Merrill with San Diego Padres, and with Christian Campbell, a $60 million extension with the Boston Red Sox, basically a week into his big league career. Now, all of those were in the works well before this season. I mean, Jackson Merrill, that had been in the works for quite some time. That was a little bit of a team-friendly deal, but he liked where he was, and he wanted to secure generational wealth for him and his family. And you know what? It may be a little bit of a team-friendly contract in the end, but you can't really blame a guy for doing that. Same with Christian Campbell, who has been on a meteoric rise. And the Red Sox know that this guy is going to be a really darn good player for a long time, and they want to keep this core that they have together for a long time. So Christian Campbell, who was not really on any prospect boards like a couple of years ago, has a breakout year at Georgia Tech and then really just fixes everything that he needed to fix about himself offensively the year after. That's why Christian Campbell took that deal and why the Red Sox offered him that deal. And right now, the Rangers, they're pushing up against that luxury tax, and I don't think that any extension would include this year, but they just haven't been spending big long-term dollars. I mean, the longest-term contract that they've done the last couple of years has been Nathan Eovaldi's 3-year, $75 million deal. I think they want to see a little bit more from their young superstar. I think it's going to make it a lot more expensive. And also, Wyatt Langford is 23. He's still very, very young, but he does have 5 years left of team control before he hits the open market as a free agent. He will be, I believe, around 29 when that happens, maybe below 30 at that. I think he will. Yes, he's going to be below 30. He might be 28 heading into his free agency if the Rangers don't work out some kind of extension. But right now, with the finances in question, with the long-term contracts not really being handed out by this team. I mean, since the Jacob deGrom deal, which again was not that long ago that they actually just signed him. I mean, this is his 3rd year in Texas. I don't see them spending a whole lot of money. I think that means it's going to get a whole lot more expensive if they do end up signing Wyatt Langford to some sort of long-term deal. I think that if they wanted to hammer one out right now, I think they could get a pretty team-friendly deal, but maybe Wyatt Langford wouldn't even take it. Maybe Wyatt Langford is betting on himself. He doesn't have Scott Boras as an agent, so I think the possibility is there, but I think just right now it is not quite yet the time, which is a bummer. Would love for Wyatt Langford to sign some big long-term deal and know that he's going to be here for his entire career, but alas, I think right now it's just not quite yet the time. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank y'all so much for listening and subscribing, and until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.